What's going on, everyone? For today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get better at Apex Legends. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, please make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get right into the video. So the other day, the reason I came up with this topic was because the other day I was playing Apex Legends. I think it was like 2 days ago, and I was playing with this random, and this guy was talking a lot, and we had some good times, I had some good laughs, and I love playing with randoms. And at the end of the day, he asked me a question. We ended up winning the game, just to make the long story short. And I ended up getting like 11 kills. He ended up getting like 4. And he asked me, our other teammate, by the way, left, so we killed it pretty much. And he asked me, how can I improve? He asked me this question: how can I improve at Apex, like the fastest way? And then I didn't know what to tell him outside of, like normal things, just keep practicing and put in the time. But then after a long time thinking about this, hopefully I can answer his question now. And I know there's a lot of other people probably trying to ask the same question: how can I get better at Apex? So I came up with these 3 things, and honestly that have helped me out improve my game, not only in first person shooters but just in competitive games. So the first one that I came up with was being honest with yourself. And I think this is very important, because if you're honest with yourself, you're going to be able to tackle any problem and go ahead and just go towards that solution rather than just ignoring the problem as a whole. And I've had a bunch of people, or I have a bunch of friends, that back in PUBG, we would play, like this guy had like 1,000 hours, and I remember he would always say, "Oh man, the game sucks." And it's true, there were some times where the game would lag or whatever, but in all honesty, like some of the times he would say I unloaded a full clip into his body and he didn't die. It was a lie. He missed his shots, and after watching, the game clip that he recorded, he did miss his shots, and I ended up telling him, and he didn't take it so well. So at the end of the day, honesty does matter a lot in these games. It does matter in first person shooters. And if you can just be honest with yourself, ask yourself questions like, do I need to work on my aiming? Did I miss my shots? Was I in a good position? Ask yourself questions and honestly answer them. Answer them as honest as possible, and you're gonna see, you're gonna be able to be like, okay, well, I have a problem here, so let's go back into training mode and start working on our aiming, whatever it is. Instead of being like all defensive about any criticism that you get, try to welcome it, and be honest with yourself. But there's a difference between negative criticism, where it's just full-blown cussing you out for whatever reason, and there's a criticism, right? So just got to figure out what the validity of that criticism is. Is there any value in that criticism? So you're gonna have to figure that out yourself. You want to go ahead and try to like take a step back, or just look at the bigger picture of what just happened. Even if you died, even if you won, try to take a step back. Could I have done something better? Could I have improved? Could have my movement been better? Then if the answer is yes, and you really honestly answer that question, then try to work on your movement. Try to do all these things that are going to help your game out. And that's what separates the really good players from just the decent players and, the players that are not doing so well. So once you figure out that problem, you work on it. You're constantly working. Is my recoil patterns not on point? Do I need to control recoil better? Okay, well then go back into training mode and start shooting that gun that you weren't good with, and stuff like that. Figure out really what your strengths are, and work on your weaknesses. It's not just about ignoring your weaknesses, because the person that just ignores their weaknesses are never going to improve, and they're just going to stay in the same level for the rest of eternity if they don't ever move. So what I'm trying to say is, try to work on your weaknesses, because that's what's going to help you improve. Try to make those weaknesses into your strengths. Once you're honest with yourself, don't be afraid to be honest with your friends. This is where you find out who your real friends are. So the second thing that I could come up with is keeping your composure. Now, composure means staying calm and in control of yourself, or oneself. So the reason you want to have this is because the last thing you want to do whenever you're fighting someone, or whenever you're having a gunfight, is to start panicking. And there's been many times in PUBG where I panicked so many times, and I didn't know this. I was like, I didn't really value composure, really. I was just kind of having fun and, letting my emotions out. There is times where you're having fun and you're just, letting emotion out or whatever. But whenever you're trying to get serious and you're trying to win the game and you're trying to get high kill games, you're going to have to keep your composure, you know? And if you got really good practice and you got enough practice, then eventually you're not going to need to keep your composure as much, but you're still going to have to keep your composure at some certain points. So the questions you should be asking yourself here is, did I stay calm or did I just panic? An example that I always give out to people about composure is, it goes back to the Halo 5 championship days when it was like big, when Halo 5 was big back in 2016, 2017. 2015, 16, and 17. And I remember Optic Gaming playing against another team. I forgot the name of it. But they were, before they became Talks or whatever, Optic Gaming, I love watching them because they always kept their composure. They always, no matter what they did wrong, even if they did a bad play, they would always try to move on to the next play. And they would always continue, not showing any emotion, if any at all. And then after the game, after they won, or they lost, they would show emotion and say, okay, this is what we got to do. And if they won, they would just high five, and call it, call it awesome. But at the end of the day, they never let go of the composure. They always stayed with that composure. They stayed calm and they were in control of what they were doing, their movement and everything. And they never panicked, which is very important in first-person shooters, competitive shooters. So again, try to stay focused in what you're trying to accomplish. The end goal is either try to get high kill games or you're trying to win, whatever it is. If you're just recreational and you're just trying to have fun, then this is not for you. I'm just saying, if you're trying to be competitive, you're going to have to keep your composure. Another thing that I could come up with, and this is the last one, is your mindset. Just understand that you are not perfect. No one is. But you can strive, to be close to perfect. Like, no one can tell you otherwise that you can't work your ass off or you can't work smartly enough in order for you to get as close to perfection as possible, But it's not just about working hard. There's something called working smart, And a lot of people don't understand that. They're like working their ass off. They work hard, and they're the hardest workers in the room. But it's not just about working hard. It's about working smart, because if you work smart, you eliminate some of the stuff that you had to do. Instead of working hard for 8 hours, you might have just worked hard for 5 hours rather than 8 hours if you would have worked smartly. So smart work, hard work, try to balance those out. So no matter how good you are, there's always room for improvement. I don't care if you're Shroud or if you're the best player in the planet. Like, there's always room for improvement, and you should always have the mindset that someone out there is better than me. So that means I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep grinding my ass off in order to beat that person, in order to be on top. How competitive are you? You have to have a positive mindset, in all of this. It's not because there's people with a negative mindset and they always constantly, cussing people out and having all these things about themselves. And they do improve to a certain level, but they never reach higher levels. And the reason because of that is because they don't have a positive mindset. They, instead of looking at that bad play and saying, okay, at least we learned this, they look at that bad play and they're like, they start cussing out, they start blaming everything else. And they have just a bad mindset. So again, have a positive mindset, have a competitive mindset. Somewhere out there, again, there's someone better than me. So I should keep working, I should keep grinding. So just to wrap all of this up, stop trying to make excuses up, Really be honest with yourself. Keep learning. You should be learning from every situation that you're in, even if you win. You should keep learning, even if you win. Doesn't matter if you got 15, 16 kills. Understand learn something from that game. From that 16 kill victory, what did you learn? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? Don't be afraid to celebrate awesome moments. There's going to be times where it's like, oh man, that was awesome. And, just say hoorah or whatever it is. Let's go, baby. Like, whatever it is, celebrate them. Because those moments, they're awesome. Have the drive to practice. Sometimes you don't want to practice, but you need to have the discipline to practice every single day. That's going to separate you from people that are playing the game recreationally, and you're playing competitively. And just to wrap this up, as long as you're humble, you're honest with yourself, you keep your composure and have a positive mindset, you guys and gals will be fine. I could assure you. And that's my answer to that one random guy too, is be humble, be honest, keep your composure, and have a positive mindset, you know, and you're going to start seeing improvement in your game. So if you did enjoy this video, consider subscribing. It does help me out a lot. Please make sure to like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.
Keep it mellow. I smoke and keep it mellow. I drink and keep it mellow. Every day I keep it mellow. Every day I keep it